dia. Ahora pues, ¿cómo? Es eso. Ok. Voy a hablar en español. Soy Paulo Illes, representando la red Espacio Sin Fronteras.
I'm Pablo Illes, I'm representing Espacio Sin Fronteras.
Es una red sudamericana. Yo vengo desde Brasil y ahora quiero darles la bienvenida en nombre del Comité Internacional como miembro organizador desde el primer Foro Social Mundial en Porto Alegre, Brasil, en el año de 2004.
I'm from South America, from Brazil. I want to welcome you to this forum as part of the organizing committee and as part of the group that has been on the organizing committee since the first forum in 2004.
Vivimos un momento muy importante cuando el foro que sale de América Latina pasa por Europa, vuelve a América Latina y ahora se realiza aquí en Asia y trae un llamado muy especial retomando la ciudadanía universal.
We are at a very important moment where the forum has started in Latin America, traveled to Europe, gone back to Latin America, and then now is in Asia with a call for universal citizenship.
El Foro Social Mundial de Migraciones en Porto Alegre llamaba a la sociedad del mundo para que todos fuéramos miembros de una única familia, la familia humana, y lanzaba las bases para un nuevo concepto de ciudadanía universal y un otro mundo posible.
The forum in Brazil called for folks to welcome to be part of a global family, a universal family with citizenship for all.
Así que todos juntos, los ciudadanos del mundo, tengamos hoy un excelente día más de talleres y de formaciones de ese foro, pues el foro no se termina aquí, sino que a cada foro es un nuevo empezar. Muchas gracias.
So today we ask that you all, the citizens of the world, have a wonderful day at the forum, a wonderful day of learning, of workshops. Thank you and welcome.
Muchas gracias. My name is Faye Lacchio. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Welcome, bienvenidos a todos. I'm from the Alliance of Progressive Labor, one of the members of the Philippine Working Group Committee. And before we move on with our plenary proper, we would like to make this very important announcement, encouraging our comrades and friends, our delegates, to please register at the exhibit hall where you will be having your field visits in Pampanga, Manila, Batangas, and a historical tour in the province of Bulacan. We're also encouraging you to participate in an interactive timeline wherein you are able to write your thoughts, share your experiences and campaigns. Also, encouraging everyone to please write your thoughts in the tribute or memorial wall. So without much further ado, Paulo, please do the honors to welcome Plenary 2.
Ahora solamente presentar el plenario, Derechos de las Personas Migrantes, Resistencia, que será coordinado por nuestro amigo, compañero, también desde el primer foro, Oscar Chacón.
So I want to welcome you to the second plenary, which is being hosted by Oscar Chacón, and the topic of migrant rights as human rights, resistance, organization, and action.
Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a good night's sleep. I'm sure we will be joined later on by folks, that may be running a little late. Hopefully we'll have a full room by the time we end this plenary. My name is Oscar Chacón, as it was already mentioned. I was actually born and raised in El Salvador, a little country in Central America, south of Mexico. Just for those of you who may need a refreshment when it comes to geography. I happen to reside now in the United States of America. I've been living there for 32 years. And I have gone in those 32 years through the different phases of what it is to be an immigrant in that country. I knew firsthand what it is to be an undocumented immigrant. I went through what it means to have to sometimes acquire documents that are not quite legitimate in order to be able to work. I went through the experience of being a so-called legal permanent resident in that country. And I am now a naturalized US citizen, which means I can vote, among other things, in that country. However, in the 30-so years that I've been an immigrant in the US, traveling constantly back and forth between El Salvador and the US and many other countries in Latin America and around the world, I am definitely a witness to the merit of this plenary that we are about to begin. The title of the plenary is Migrant Rights Are Human Rights: Resistance, Organizations, and Action. And I think that it is important to understand that the larger context of this plenary is the fact that if one does an honest review of what has happened with the rights of people who happen to be migrants, I think we all would agree that in general we have come from bad to worst. We were having a conversation some months ago with a legislator in the city of Boston who actually used the words, there is a war on immigrants, in countries around the world. And I think that is precisely why this plenary is so important, because we are here to assess the need to resist, the need to organize, the need to take action, but overall, the need to vindicate the fact that when somebody, a human being, goes from one part of the world to another, we do not lose a single right, when we do that. I want to familiarize you, before I actually explain who the panelists here are going to be, with how I expect the plenary to go. First of all, we are not going to be doing long speeches, by the participants. Instead, we are going to encourage a more fluid conversation. I will encourage even the panelists to ask questions, from themselves. We are going to try to keep it brief, concise, and clear. I have asked them to, yes, do introductory comments of about 5 minutes plus translation from each, but then in responding to further comments that we are going to do, to try to keep it really brief, 2 to 3 minutes, so that it is dynamic as much as we can. I also want to make clear that there will come a moment where we are going to open it up, to questions from you. And hear me well, I said questions from you, because we want to make sure that we avoid more presentations from the floor. If you happen to have a speech that you want to deliver, think about it and figure out how you turn it into a question, because we want questions to be asked and not necessarily more presentations. So I hope that you can join me in welcoming our panelists, and beginning with the principle of being short and brief, I am not going to read their biographies. Each one of you has a program, and in the program you can actually read the brief biographic information for each of the presenters. So I don't have to repeat, that and waste time. However, there is one bio that was significantly miswritten that I want to tell you about. And it's in the case of Zeina Hindi, to my right, far right. Zeina is an activist and a scholar currently residing in Beirut, Lebanon. She received her MA in Middle Eastern Studies from American University of Beirut this year. Zeina has been a member of the Palestinian Youth Movement since 2009 and has participated in organizing numerous campaigns and initiatives for Palestinian youth and refugee rights in the US and in Lebanon. That's the only one I'm going to read because you don't have it in your program. The rest of the bios, you have them in your programs. If you have questions about who each of them is, what they represent, just read from the program, okay? So without further ado, we're going to begin. And as I said, we are very fortunate to have in this panel people with long years of experience, with very particular experiences that allow us to enjoy this morning of a rather diverse set of opinions on the subject matter that this plenary will be addressing. We have, and this is not necessarily the order they will speak, but it may well be. First of all, we do have Abdelhamid El Jamri. Did I pronounce it right, more or less? Abdelhamid is the chairperson of the UN Committee on Migrant Workers. Welcome to this plenary. Thank you. We have Eda Pando, to my far left, representing ARSI, an organization based in Italy. Welcome, Eda. We have Ellen Sana, to my right, in the middle. Ellen Sana comes from the Center for Migrant Advocacy in the Philippines. Welcome. We have Myrtle Whitpool. Did I pronounce it right, more or less? Thank you very much. She comes from the South African Domestic Service and Allied Workers Union. Welcome. And finally, to my far right again, Zeina Hindi, the International Palestinian Youth. So we're going to begin. I have asked them to try to keep it to 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes. The exception is the case of translations that we will need to do simultaneously. So just bear with us, but we'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Are you willing to be the first? Very good. Welcome.
Merci, Sabah Khair. Donc, bonjour à toutes et à tous. Donc, je salue les participants au Forum social mondial sur l'immigration et je suis très heureux et très honoré d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui.
Hello to everyone. I'm very happy and pleased to be here at the World Social Forum on Migration. Thank you.
Donc, c'est vrai qu'en 5 minutes, c'est très difficile de développer ce que l'on peut proposer aux pensées, mais je vais essayer de le faire de façon très brève. Je vais essayer de vous transmettre certains messages que je souhaiterais partager avec vous et qui sont le résultat de mon travail au sein du Comité sur les travailleurs migrants.
5 minutes. Okay. 5 minutes is not a lot of time to develop what I'd like to convey to you as a message, but I'd like to talk to you about the results of my work in the Committee for Migrant Workers.
Donc le premier message, c'est vous parler un peu de la convention que j'ai l'honneur de présider sur les droits de travail migrants. C'est pour dire que c'est non seulement c'est la convention qui est reconnue de façon spécifique comme outil spécifique de protection des droits de travail migrants, mais c'est pour vous dire que c'est une convention qui est très dynamique et qui a beaucoup d'avenir.
Okay, I am the chairperson for the convention and represent this important convention for migrant workers at the UN. And this convention is a very important tool, not only for the protection of human rights, but also because this convention is a very dynamic convention that is going to give very important results in the future.
Donc, au-delà du travail qu'elle fait d'examen des rapports des États parties, de la promotion de la convention et de la réflexion à l'occasion de journées de discussion générale,
so beyond analyzing the reports of the member states on the promotion of this convention in a general sense,
c'est une convention qui mobilise beaucoup. Elle mobilise d'abord l'ensemble des agences des Nations Unies, elle mobilise la société civile, et à ce niveau-là, donc, nous sommes très fier d'être accompagné par une plateforme d'ONG qui se trouve à Genève et qui accompagne le comité au niveau de tous ses travaux. Elle mobilise un comité directeur qui a été créé depuis 1990 quand la convention a été adoptée, et elle mobilise un ensemble d'autres organisations, et aujourd'hui il est en train de mobiliser les syndicats pour mettre en place une plateforme syndicale à Genève internationale qui accompagnerait le comité dans ses travaux sur la question d'immigration.
So this convention is very important because it's mobilizing beyond all the UN agencies and civil societies, and also it creates a big platform for NGOs and different other organizations for the convention that was adopted in 1990. And beyond this, it's also engaging trade unions currently to create a platform for the promotion of these rights in the future.
Le deuxième message?
At an international level.
Le deuxième message, ça concerne peut-être le recul qu'on constate aujourd'hui dans beaucoup de pays sur la question des droits des migrants. Et au niveau de ce recul, je pourrais vous donner au moins deux origines. La première origine, c'est le développement sauvage du libéralisme.
So the second point that I'd like to make is the message. So currently there is the situation in many countries is backwards in terms of the protections of the rights of migrants, and this is due to many reasons. And first of all is the total development of liberalism without any rules.
Donc, ce libéralisme qui développe des systèmes économiques qui favorisent la dégradation des conditions de travail, qui favorisent aujourd'hui le retour à l'informel dans beaucoup d'États qui avaient lutté contre l'économie informelle, et qui favorisent par conséquence l'emploi des migrants en situation irrégulière, l'emploi des femmes et l'emploi des enfants non accompagnés.
So this liberalism is an economic system that is degrading the rights of workers and migrant workers, and that is going back to informal sector. And so many countries fought against the informal sector in order to protect workers' rights. And currently, because of the degradation of these rights, we see the involvement again of undocumented workers, women, and children who are non-accompanied children, unaccompanied children.
Donc la deuxième origine de ce recul des droits, moi je dirais, c'est la communauté internationale de façon générale, et certains États en particulier. La communauté internationale, parce que ce qu'on constate aujourd'hui malheureusement, c'est qu'il n'y a pas de volonté d'accès, de prendre en considération la dimension droit dans l'élaboration des politiques migratoires, que ce soit au niveau national, régional ou international.
So the second reason for this problem in terms of the protections of rights is the international community, because there are some countries that currently are not doing enough. There is no political will to really take into consideration rights when they are developing migration policies, and this happens at a local and international level as well.
Il y a aussi la responsabilité de beaucoup d'États aujourd'hui qui reviennent sur des droits qu'ils avaient octroyés aux migrants. Et ça, on le trouve dans plusieurs pays. Et l'excuse qui est souvent avancée, c'est la crise financière que nous vivons actuellement.
So this is the responsibility of many states who are going back to some decisions that were taken in the past in terms of migrant rights, and the pretext used is the financial crisis.
Dans beaucoup d'États qui ont même ratifié certaines conventions internationales concernant les droits de l'homme, on trouve la question de l'applicabilité des droits pour les travailleurs migrants. Donc les droits existent, mais qui ne sont pas toujours appliqués. Et je donnerai à titre d'exemple la question des domestiques, des travailleurs domestiques migrants, qui ne relèvent pas du code du travail du pays.
So, for instance, many countries who ratified international conventions for workers' rights are not really implementing it, and this is an example for domestic workers, which is not happening.
Un phénomène aussi qui s'est développé ces dernières années dans plusieurs États, c'est la question de faire basculer des migrants en situation régulière en situation irrégulière. Donc qui passe d'une situation régulière à une situation irrégulière. Et ça, par le changement de loi des fois, ce qui fait que la situation du travailleur migrant en situation irrégulière, donc précaire, se trouvent fabriqués dans les États d'accueil eux-mêmes, alors que les migrants étaient rentrés de façon régulière.
What is happening in many states is that a migrant with a documented position, so in a regular situation, finds himself or herself in a irregular position because of a change in the legislation, in the laws. So somebody who has entered on a legal basis a country is now finding himself in the same country but in a legal situation.
Au niveau du travail de comité, je voudrais saluer la société civile qui joue un rôle très important dans la défense des droits des migrants, que ce soit au niveau de la sensibilisation, au niveau de la promotion, de la promotion de la Convention. Et je salue aussi les États partis à la Convention qui font un effort considérable et qui collaborent avec nous de façon très pédagogique pour une meilleure application de la Convention dans leur pays.
And I'd like to greet, and I'd really like to express all my congratulations to civil society, who is strongly committed into the promotion of this convention at the international level and locally, and for the support of a better implementation of the convention.
Le troisième message que je voudrais vous passer concerne la question de la résistance et de l'action. En fait, aujourd'hui, on se réjouit que des acteurs sociaux qui ne s'intéressaient pas beaucoup à la question migratoire commencent à s'y intéresser. Et ce sont principalement les syndicats.
And then my third point, it concerns resistance and action, because I'm very happy that some socio-economic actors who were not interested in migration issues before are now getting more and more interested, and I'm talking about trade unions.
On a vu la vitalité de la migration ces dernières années, où on a vu beaucoup de situations à travers le monde où les migrants se sont pris en charge eux-mêmes pour se défendre au niveau du droit au travail et dans les conditions de travail.
And we have seen a lot of things going on in the world of migrants lately and around the world, and migrants are taking the responsibility by themselves to defend their rights in terms of employment and in terms of their human rights.
Et aujourd'hui, je me réjouis de ma collaboration pendant ces 2 dernières années avec la Confédération européenne des syndicats, avec la Confédération syndicale internationale, qui ont commencé à prendre au sérieux cette question des travailleurs migrants et aussi des travailleurs migrants en situation irrégulière.
And I'm very happy of the work that I've been conducting in the past 2 years with the Confederation of European Trade Unions and with the Confederation of International Trade Unions, because they really started to take into consideration the rights of migrant workers and of undocumented workers.
Donc le quatrième message que je voudrais vous passer, c'est celui concernant tout le système des Nations Unies. Cette année, j'ai eu l'honneur d'être élu président du système des Nations Unies, des organes de traité, donc à Addis Abeba, au mois de juin dernier. Et c'est pour vous dire que le système des Nations Unies, qui regroupe actuellement 10 conventions, vit plusieurs difficultés.
So this year I'm particularly pleased because I was elected president of the UN treaties. No. So I was elected president of the UN Treaties Body System for Human Rights, and which encompasses 10 different conventions, and I'm very proud and happy to be working with them.
Donc je n'ai plus le temps de développer ce dernier message, mais peut-être dans la discussion on reviendra dessus. Donc je vous remercie et je suis à votre disposition donc, pour échanger avec vous. Merci.
So thank you very much, and if you need to ask me more questions about this, I'm here to answer to your questions. Thank you.
It is always a challenge, you know, when we have to accommodate translation. But I want to congratulate my first speaker here, because they did everything within 10 minutes. So that's really good. Congratulations. Okay, let's see who wants to follow. Eda, you want to go next? Please go.
Antes que nada, buenos días a todos. First of all, I would like to say thank you for this invitation. I don't speak better English, so I prefer to help me Ada. Okay. A ver, yo trato de decir algunas cosas a puntos, digamos.
I'm going to try to make some points, let's say.
Primera cosa que me viene seguramente y sobre la cual estamos reflexionando como movimiento de migrantes en Italia es la cuestión de cuánto es ambiguo el concepto de derechos humanos.
The first thing that we're talking about, and the first point I'd like to make, is that when we talk about migrants' rights and the movement for migrants' rights in Italy, we're talking about the ambiguity of human rights.
No migrants' rights, human rights.
Human rights.
Okay. ¿Por qué? Porque la Convención de los Derechos Humanos del 48 se aprueba en un momento en el cual existía el colonialismo.
Because when the convention is approved in 1948, it's approved in a time when it's a time of colonialism.
Se aplica en un momento en el cual para determinadas partes del mundo los derechos humanos valen y determinadas partes del mundo hay personas que no son personas y que entonces esos derechos del 48 para ellos no valían.
It's approved in a point where in certain parts of the world certain people had rights, and in other parts of the world certain people didn't have rights, and those what was approved in the convention didn't apply to them.
Eso no significa que no podemos recoger el espíritu de lo que se decía en esa convención,
That doesn't mean that we can't take the spirit of what is written in that convention.
pero yo creo que también hay que saber ser críticos porque la realidad de ahora nos está presentando una situación similar.
And I think that it's important that we be critical because the situation right now is something that's similar.
En Europa, yo vengo de Europa, yo soy peruana, vivo hace 21 años en Italia, he pasado por todo lo que ha pasado Oscar.
In Europe, where I live now, I'm from Peru, but now I live in Italy, and I've passed through everything that Oscar has also passed through.
Clandestina, como dicen, regular y ahora ciudadana italiana.
I've been clandestine, like they say, I've been regular, and now I'm a citizen.
Bueno, decía, en Europa se llenan mucho la boca sobre la cuestión de derechos humanos y hablan mucho de derechos humanos.
In Europe, people like to talk about human rights. People kind of are proud about talking about human rights,
Sobre todo los gobiernos.
especially governments.
Pero luego, el trabajo sucio lo hacen hacer a aquellos que consideran los inciviles, o sea, los países del tercer mundo.
But then they leave the work to those who are considered,
Los inciviles.
then they leave the work to civil society. Excuse me. Then they leave the dirty work to those who they consider not civilized, and they let them do that dirty work.
Y esto es lo que hacen Marruecos, Libia, Argelia, en donde los centros de detención, en particular Libia, por ejemplo, vienen financiados con dinero de la Comunidad Europea, de aquella que es la cuna de los derechos humanos.
And this is what Morocco is doing, this is what Libya is doing, this is what Algeria is doing, and there are detention centers here that are being financed, especially in Libya, that are being financed
By the money of European Union. Okay, sorry. Entonces, se está volviendo a crear la situación en la cual, si es que alguna vez dejó de existir,
So the situation is being recreated, let's say it ever really stopped happening,
que hay personas y hay no personas,
that
como,
there are people and there are non-people.
como las ha definido un sociólogo italiano, Dallago.
This is something that Italian sociologist Dallago has named or defined.
Ahora, entonces, yo creo que en la globalización no todo es negativo,
And I don't think that this is all negative.
porque quizás esta globalización, estos encuentros, nos pueden permitir que en estos ámbitos
And I think that globalization is not negative because it permits for these kind of forums, these kind of gatherings to give us different opportunities, different angles.
podemos desarrollar sustancialmente lo que es un concepto de derechos humanos.
And here together we could really define what human rights means in a substantial way.
Y de esta forma evitar que se repitan cosas terribles.
And so that way we avoid that terrible things happen.
Segunda cosa,
Second
muy
point.
brevemente,
And really briefly,
acción y resistencia.
action and resistance.
Yo no creo que solamente hay que resistir.
I don't believe that we just need to resist.
Estoy cansada de resistir.
I am tired of resisting.
Creo que hay que imaginar.
I think we need to start imagining.
Creo que hay que osar.
I think that we need to start daring people.
Y eso significa, y en primer lugar, en Europa es la reflexión que estamos haciendo los migrantes,
And this means, and this is what migrants in Europe are doing,
asumirse la responsabilidad de ser protagonistas en primera persona.
is starting to take that responsibility of being protagonists in the first person.
Y romper y tratar de decolonizar, sea de un lado que de otro lado, la mente de cada uno de nosotros.
And we need to start to decolonialize, whether it be on the one side or the other side. We need to start decolonializing our minds.
¿Por qué lo digo?
Why do I say this?
Porque en Europa a veces en los migrantes vive una lógica paterna, una lógica victimista,
Because sometimes migrants in Europe, we live with a mindset of being victims.
pero vive también por parte de los autóctonos europeos una lógica paternalista y de superioridad.
But is also on the side of the Europeans a paternalism and
Superiority.
a superiority.
A los migrantes nos ha costado mucho tener voz propia, nos hemos tenido que rebelar construyendo organizaciones solo de migrantes para poder tener el derecho de decir lo que a nosotros nos está pasando.
It has been very difficult for us as migrants to give voice, to be able to speak for ourselves and to tell the stories of what is happening.
Nos ha costado mucho decirle a los académicos que que estamos cansados de ser objetos de estudio y que queremos ser sujetos de acción.
It's been very difficult to tell academics that we're tired of being subjects of study. We're ready to be objects of study. We're ready to be subjects of action.
Y hablábamos de orgullo migrante.
And talk about pride, the pride of being an immigrant.
Ha sido un proceso como el que también se ha dado con las mujeres, que necesitaron estar entre ellas para adquirir una conciencia de lo que eran como sujeto colectivo.
It's a process kind of like what happened with women, that women had to be together to be able to define what it meant and to create that understanding.
No significa guetizarse. Guetizarse no significa quedarse solo entre migrantes.
It doesn't mean just staying together as immigrants, isolating ourselves as immigrants.
Era un poco como darles una cachetadita a los compañeros autóctonos.
It was kind of like slapping the native born in the face.
Y funcionó.
And it worked.
Porque los migrantes empezaron a adquirir conciencia, empezaron a ser sujetos de acción, empezamos a hablar, empezamos a hacer teoría. Porque la teoría es el generalizar la experiencia.
Because migrants were able to give voice, and migrants were able... Because we started to create theory. And it's theory based on our experiences. It's generalizing our experiences.
Ahora estamos en otra fase.
But now we're in a different phase.
Estamos tratando de pensar
We're trying to think about
cómo desvestirnos de esta nueva moda que se han inventado,
how to unrobe ourselves of this way that they have created, this new style that they have created,
del multiculturalismo, interculturalismo, transculturalismo y el ismo que ustedes quieran.
this multiculturalism,
Interculturalism, multiculturalism, transculturalism, everyculturalism, what you want, okay? ¿Y por qué?
Why?
Porque es verdad que existe una diversidad cultural,
There is a cultural diversity.
pero también es verdad que yo creo que ahora tenemos que empezar a afirmar
But I think it's also true that we need to start affirming
aquello que nos une.
that which unites us.
Somos una minoría de la población mundial.
We are a minority of the world population.
Y digo somos a toda esta gente que estamos acá de diferentes nacionalidades.
And I'm saying we to all of you here who are here from different places, different nationalities.
Yo no sé si pasa en otros países, pero en Italia, por ejemplo,
I don't know if this happens in other countries, but for example, in Italy,
los peruanos cuando votan gana la derecha, los tunecinos cuando votan gana la derecha. When Peruvians in Italy vote, the party that win is the right parties. When Tunisian people vote in Italy for the election in their country, who win is the right parties. Entonces, hay un problema seguramente que en los migrantes no hay una conciencia del hecho que necesitamos desarrollar una idea de defender los propios derechos colectivamente.
so we're missing we're missing this consciousness that as immigrants we need to work together collectively.
Y en este caso creo que tenemos que empezar a pensar no tanto a la diferencia,
And we need to think not so much about our differences.
sino a aquellos principios que nos pueden unir para construir un mundo mejor.
We need to think about those principles that unite us so that we are able to create a better world.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Sorry for the time.
It's okay.